So I just looked at my email, and I had received an email from Facebook which just plows your account with junk mail. I'll have to at some point try again to try and stop that. But in one of the emails, which was a reference to some Facebook group that I think I joined a while ago, there's an indication of how many there's like two little symbols, and one is like notifications with a bell or whatever, and the other one's like how many messages. That's it. Because on Facebook Messenger you got that little symbol with a sort of a lightning bolt on its side inside a circle, and that indicated there was a message, but it's ambiguous. So is it a reference to my account? I don't know. So I logged into my account, no message. So this is what I don't like, is the lying. Leaving things ambiguous so as to lure people. It's manipulation, and it's disgusting. It's dishonourable. And that's what the world has come to. Dishonour. It's just dishonour. And honour is everything. It's worth something. Because if you don't have honour, what do you have? You have dishonour. And dishonour is lying, cheating, deceit. And that's what we're dealing with on an everyday basis. From companies and businesses, and it's just making the world into a sick pile of rubbish. And people need to learn again what honour is and why it's important, because they're selling, in a way they're just selling themselves down the river, and it makes the whole, it makes anything that a person's involved with dirty. Because if they haven't got their honour, what have they got? Well, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, you receive some sort of email or something that leaves something ambiguous going on, and you're like, oh, is that what they meant? And you check and it isn't. I mean, you know, stuff of that ilk. I just, trying to manipulate people is, when you get, these guys, I mean, they just get caught all the time, but they don't care. You know, if you get manipulated by some business or some even a web page or something, it makes you feel dirty, it makes you feel cheated, lied to, and it makes you think that the person who designed it is a lowlife. And that's what these people are doing. They're just allowing themselves to be thought of as lowlifes. I mean, it's disgusting. So I don't want that. You know, this non-accountability and deniability. Yeah, you could say, oh well, that's not what we meant. You know, you give people a chance 1, 2, 3 times maybe. You know, after the 100th time, you're like, no, it wasn't ambiguous. You guys put too much money and effort and manpower into everything to do with visual interaction with the user for that to be an accident. It's not an accident, it is intentional, and it is low-life behaviour. I just get tired of it. Now, you know, when I make complaints like this, even to people I know, verbally, in real life, you know, not on videos or anything, some of them are like, oh, it's just the way the world is. What? Okay, fine. So people start burning down each other's houses on Tuesday afternoons at 2 o'clock, and you know, how long until your house gets burned down? You're going to say, well, it's just what people do now. Oh, it's just the way the world is. The idiocy of that attitude is flabbergasting. It really is. So, yeah, I don't know. There's so much disgusting stuff going on at the moment. And it's been going on for about 25 years. The really disgusting stuff. I mean, you know, I went to the shops the other day, and there was a Foot Locker outlet, which is a shoe store. And the symbol on the front of the store, a massive store, is this is a guy dressed in black and white striped a black and white striped shirt, like as if he's a referee, a sports referee, with a whistle in his mouth, doing this, right? And, you know, turning to the side. Now, if you're switched on, you realise that at a distance, that looks like an eyeball shape, like an eye, you know, like like sort of, I don't know, not an oval, but you know what I mean, that sort of elliptical shape with an iris in the middle, like I'm making. And it's so obviously for that reason. Oh no, it's not just a coincidence. Yeah, okay. What about the hundreds of other accidental coincidences, which are company logos, which are depicting the Eye of Horus? I mean, come on. I saw another big screen advert the other day depicting a guy was opening a window, and you know, or it was a view of coming from behind a person standing in front of a window, the curtains of which they just opened, and they were like this, and from the back it looks the people who are doing this must think that people are just straight stupid. The problem is that people who don't really know what to look for don't notice it consciously, but they notice it subliminally, because that's what these people who are doing this work upon. They work on the subliminal. So the more people are exposed to that subliminal imagery, the more they'll come to accept it. So when the people who are doing this finally come out and reveal that they are Luciferian, Horus worshipping whatever, people will be like, oh well, never mind. That's what they're banking on. That's what, and the people doing this, they must know that there are intelligent people out there who just blatantly see what these guys are doing. And they're like, well, you know, statistically it doesn't matter as long as we get the majority of people on board. Therein lies the problem with democracy. Whoa, that's a bit of a sidestep. Well, I'm telling you. I believe that democracy was, and you say, oh, it's from ancient Greece, well, whatever. Okay, look. If democracy is protected in terms of it being legitimate and authentic, and there aren't people in secret societies trying to manipulate the population who have access and control over the means to do so, then your democratic process is fine. That's not what we've got. We've got people who have fantastic resources available to them and access to media and advertising, who are subliminally programming people and then reaping democratic voting movement as a result. I mean, and they're also trying to manipulate society based upon the principle of the lowest common denominator. Yes, if there are some really intelligent people who actually understand and know what's going on, they don't really matter, because these guys think, oh well, there's such a small portion of the population that it doesn't really matter. The truth is that even the people who, more and more people nowadays are like, nah, they're cottoning on. I'd say about 50% of people really and truly don't care, which is sad. 20% of people know exactly what's going on and really care, and 30% know what's going on and don't care very much. So I'd say it's 20% of people who are really actually bothered, and it's growing. And I want to reach out to those people and encourage them. We need to really encourage each other to realise what's going on, because there are some really nasty folk, or people who are operating from a nasty position, who are trying to hoodwink every nation on the planet and install a one world government. So I started off with a little bit of corruption, shall I say, in a message from Facebook. But it's part of this culture of lack of honour, because the people who are doing this don't have any honour. I'll use this example. When communists are trying to destroy a country so they can take it over, one of their mottos is any means necessary. Now, if you really understand what communists have been doing over the period of time that they've been operating, you'll understand what any means necessary means. And it's extraordinarily bad news, because it's dishonourable. They work on the principle that we, of decent countries, functioning countries, have honour. And they see that as us having a weakness. Well, I mean, I'm aware of how communists have worked in the past. And bearing in mind, communism is one arm of the monster which wants to create a one world government. A one world government, yeah. One government for the whole world. That's their end ambition. And the only thing that works against them is being equally brutal with them, because they will do the most horrific, horrendous things because any means necessary. And that's not the kind of world you want to live in, because you need honour. Because honour means a person is accountable. That's a strong society when you've got honour. And these people are acting dishonourably. They can't win. What they can do is be enormously destructive on the way. So, yes, the small instances that we see on an everyday basis, you might brush off as, oh, it's just a minor irritation, but it's part of a bigger problem. Honour is important. Really important. I stand by my word. I can look someone in the eye and be completely honest and open with them, because I'm not lying. Lying is cowardice. Honour means you actually stand for something. You stand by what you say. You accept and admit if you've made a mistake. And that's leadership, in fact, which is completely different to what a politician is. A leader is different to a politician. A leader is essentially willing to take the bullet. They're the person who goes for. They're willing to put themselves in harm's way if necessary. They are willing to stand up for something. A politician, nope, they're a paid liar, and they know it. That's the deal that they've made. They've accepted that, and no. You stand for something. And the people who stood up for things in the past, a lot of them have died. A lot of them have been killed for what they believed in, because it was right. And those are the people who get remembered. The spineless wimps, the cowards who lie, and they never get remembered, because they're worthless. They're nothings in this world. So, this is about character. It's about honour. And that versus dishonourable behaviour that we see every day all around us. So I'm just suggesting, let's be honourable. Let's stand up for things. Let's be decent. Let's have some guts, some courage, and then we can build a better world. Good luck.